Begin your warm-up by jogging on the spot. What you'll notice here is I keep my whole body straight, including my knees, and I'm just working from my ankles. The idea here is to actively raise my toes, so I fire the front of my foot down into the floor, never letting my heel touch the ground. You should be able to get about a credit card underneath your heel at all times. So I'll continue to jog on the spot in this same way, but now I'm going to fire one knee up into the air, just in random times. You'll need to do this quite quickly. Because you're not actually jumping very high off the floor, the knee has to come right up and right down in the same space of time as you hop from one foot to the other in the jogging pattern. So the next challenge is to hop that knee up every step. This really challenges your coordination and starts to really fire up those muscles and just get your brain working. Believe me, it's harder than it looks. As you repeat another set of these, you'll really start to feel that your heart rate's rising. Your lower leg muscles should be pretty active by now, and your brain's really getting focused onto the coordination that we're doing here. So now we've done our running A drill warm-up. Now we want to go into a B drill warm-up to get those hamstrings working and firing nice and strong. So you bring the knee up as you did with your A drill. Then you want to extend the knee so your foot comes out nice and straight. And then use your whole leg, keep it nice and straight, and slap your foot down into the floor. It may look pretty random what I'm doing here, but you're trying to hit the full foot down, keeping the heel up just in front of your other foot. So you should feel pretty warm now. So we're going to start activating and mobilizing various joints through the body. So we're going to start with some lunge rotations. So if I lunge forwards with my right leg, I'm going to rotate my upper body to the right, just take my body and my arms just as far around as I can. Then step back and repeat. It's useful here to vary the foot placement with your lunge and vary the amount that you rotate. This will just add a little bit of variability to the exercises that you're doing here, and it'll activate the muscles more fully. So just make sure you repeat on the other leg, so left leg forwards with left rotation. So now we're going to work those hips from side to side. So let's take a sideways lunge and reach towards the inside foot with the straight leg. So you'll start feeling the hamstrings, adductors, and the hips and the lower back. They'll all start to be working now and getting a bit of a stretch. Just be careful not to overstretch though. So do a few of these lunges and swap over to the other leg. The main thing you're looking for is to try and keep that knee over the foot. It will come in slightly as you reach towards the inside leg, but just be careful that it doesn't drop in too far. As always, you want to keep good control over that knee. So you've done 10 or so side lunges. Now you're going to go into a deep squat with an overhead reach. So take the feet a reasonable distance apart, about shoulder width. Turn the feet out slightly, and you're going to squat down just as low as you possibly can, whilst at the same time you're going to reach your hands over your head. This will make your spine really extend. Lack of spinal extension is a real issue in this modern world, so this is a really useful exercise to gain some mobility, and if you're a swimmer at all, this will really help to keep your legs from sinking. So the deep squat gave us some really good flexion to the hips, so now we're going to work on the extension of the hips. So kneel down in a lunge position, reach your hands out straight, keep them together, and you're going to reach them down towards your toes and then reach them up over your head. At the same time you're going to swing your hips forwards. Now leave your hands over your head, and now you're going to keep the hips forwards and take your hands from side to side. So repeat this a few times, then put your hands out in front of you, and then you're going to rotate your hands from left to right. So when you've gone through that sequence of 3 exercises with one leg forwards, just swap legs and repeat the whole process again, reaching forwards and backwards, side to side, and rotate. The key really is to keep some focus into the hips, so you really drive those hips into extension. This will open the hips up nicely, and really help you toe off that little bit later whilst you're running to increase your stride length. So now we're going to go into a sideways lunge and reach. So take the legs nice and wide apart, and you're going to squat down in the center and then slide your hands across the floor to one side, reach out as far as you can. Then stand back up straight again. Then squat down in the center again and slide your hands across the floor to the other side. This is going to challenge the flexibility in your lower back, whilst also challenging the strength and coordination that you have in your legs. This is particularly good for getting into those aero positions on a bike. So we've done plenty of work on our legs and our lower back. You should also be getting a really good sweat on now. Heart rate should be nice and high. So now we're going to work up onto the shoulders and the upper back. So I'd like you to reach one hand up as high as you can, and then we're going to take the other hand and reach it across the body as far as you can. So now you're going to oscillate these positions, reaching up and reaching across at the same time. Then taking a little bit of the pressure off and then reaching up and across again. Obviously repeat on the other side. This is a great warm-up for the shoulders and the spine for swimming, and it's as close as we can get to warming up the swimming action without actually getting in the water. It's also great for racket sports like tennis and badminton, where you have to reach up, rotate and strike a ball overhead. So now we're going to move on to do a very similar thing, but just work the side of the body. So again, reach one hand overhead, and the other hand's going to come across your body, but this time you're going to do less rotation and more side bend. So again, you're looking to oscillate these two positions, so from standing in the center to side bend with both hands really driving that movement. Again, repeat on the other side with exactly the same form. So the upper spine and the shoulder girdle are really starting to warm up now. So let's just look at the shoulder itself and try and get some fluid back into that joint. So I like to throw in some arm circling here. Personally, I like to work the arms in opposite directions. It just makes your spine have to move a lot more than going in the same direction with both arms. If you find the coordination too difficult, just circle one arm at a time. All in all, you should be pretty warm by now, hopefully sweating a little bit. Your muscles should be really fired up and your mind should be really focused on the task at hand. And this is exactly how you should feel prior to training or doing an event. So all you need to do now is practice this warm-up.